Hello folks, good morning and welcome back to the channel. I have something a little bit different for you. A motor vlog, my first. So, I have uploaded a couple of videos over the years of rides that I've done and tours, but it's just been riding with a bit of music over it, and that's been it. And I am aware that I have been doing quite a lot of product reviews. Now, obviously, if you've come to my channel for that, then obviously that won't be any downside. But I am aware that there's only so much of me sitting in my little plastic shed reviewing Apple CarPlay units and other bits and bobs that you can take. So, and I realise I am saying so a lot. I don't know what form this vlog is gonna take, but as we stand right now, I am on the M6 northbound, and I am heading up to where am I heading, Paul? I'm heading up to Fort William in Scotland. I am up in Scotland on a ride out next weekend as well. But this weekend, a friend of mine, messaged me and said one of our friends has had to unexpectedly drop out. Would you like to join us? So I said yes. I managed to get a day off work for today, which is the Friday. So I'm heading up there now. All I know is that we're heading up to Fort William for 2 nights to stay in a guest house. Where we're going to go tomorrow, the Saturday, I have no idea, but obviously I shall try and record as much of that as I can. I've been kind of pondering and getting a little bit anxious about what to say, and not because of my stammer, but because I could talk about tech all day long and I never get bored of it. My friends do, but I don't. And I'm like, what do people talk about on a motor vlog? Do they just chat nonsense? And from what I can tell, yeah, it's kind of unscripted. Come on, van, get past me. And yeah, you just, sort of commentate on what you're doing, where you're going. I'd love to say I'm going to have lots of facts and figures in my head about Fort William. Don't mean want to be in that lane, Paul. Facts and figures and dates, and probably not going to happen. So yeah, I don't know what form this is going to take, how much of the footage I'll end up having to cut out. But it's just going to be me, 3 friends, and I'm just going to be filming and talking a load of nonsense on the way. As always, any comments and feedback would be appreciated. Please be kind, because like I say, I plan to record the ride out next weekend. I'm off on one of Bruce's Teapot One's clan ride outs in July, so I plan on filming that. And me and my partner are also away in August. We're going to the Dolomites, so I'm going to try and record as much of it as I can and kind of get in the groove of doing this sort of thing. So the plan for today anyway is I'm heading up the M6 as far as Tebay. I'm going to stop there for a brew. And then after I've done that long stint of the M6, because I'm kind of pushed for time, I'm going to come off at Shap, and then I'm going to pick up the A6 from there, and I'm heading over to Selkirk, which is where I'm meeting up with 2 of my friends. Well, I say 2 of my friends, one guy I've never actually met. And then I think we're heading up towards Glasgow to meet up with another guy, and then on from there to Fort William. So I think by the time we arrive, whatever time that ends up being, I will have done about 375 miles. So I shall be ready for a meal and a beer. So yeah, I'm not going to make you watch me for the next, hour and a half on the M6. I'll pick this up when I'll pick this up once I stop at Tebay services for a brew, and yeah, we'll see where we get from there. But the sun is shining. It's not massively warm, but it's fine. I just hope it stays like this the further up towards Scotland we get. We'll see what happens. Right, speak to you in a bit. Hello folks, welcome back. So just left Tebay services, didn't stop long, had a quick drink and pee. So I'm gonna be coming off the M6 in a moment and following the A6 all the way over to Selkirk. The clouds have gone a little bit iffy, but stay positive. I have brought my waterproofs with me. I'm wearing my new Oxford Mondial 2 jacket, which I don't know, I've never tested the waterproofing of it, and my my new road skin armoured jeans. So obviously they're not going to be waterproof. So, but yeah, we'll see how we get on, and whether or not I need to stop and stick the old waterproofs on. I was tempted to wear my Rucker Gore-Tex, but I don't know. It's not the most comfortable suit to ride in because it's laminated. I mean, it's very waterproof, don't get me wrong, but it's not the most flexible one out there. But anyway, we shall see. Stacey's mom has got it going on. Stacey's mom has got it going on. Welcome back. So I switched the camera off for a while because the route that I'd planned, I forgot that the A6 takes you right through the middle of Lancaster. I think it is, and on a Friday it was hammered. So I'm now on the A7 heading over towards Galashiels, I think, and Howick. I think this is called the Scottish border route to Edinburgh, or something like that. Anyway, so it's a lovely road. I've got about 40 minutes. I'm going to be nearly 25 minutes late, but I thought I would include this road because it is stunning. I haven't been on it for a while, so yeah.
I just want to do a quick shout out to Filmstro, who are kind of sponsoring the video per se. They reached out fairly recently and offered me a lifetime subscription to their music platform for royalty-free music. So the track you're listening to now, that's from there, and the one right at the end of the video. So yeah, big thanks to them. I'll leave a link in the description to their site. So far, really enjoying it. Plenty of music on there and tools where I can change and customize any of the audio that's on there. So yeah, thank you very much to Filmstro. I should be using that in more videos from now on. So, as you will probably be able to tell from the fact that there's music on and me doing a voiceover, that my plans to do a lot of commentary and try and give some information about the routes, where we were going, etc. Didn't quite go to plan. As soon as I met up with, or as soon as we, met up with my friend Alzo, we all linked our intercoms. So most of the time I was talking, I mean, this is day 2, just leaving Fort William to head over to Eilean Donan Castle and also to Applecross. Most of the time we were riding, it wasn't really easy for me to be able to commentate, at least not without having the mickey taken out of me, which happens anyway, which is why I love these guys so much. So yeah, I was planning on doing more sort of talking to the camera, but we spent all of day 2 and most of the first half of day 3 on the way home, just chatting nonsense. I seem to somehow end up with a new nickname. Normally I'm called PJ because of that's my initials, but I've ended up with a new nickname, Crispin Bungle. So yeah. One thing I will say is I might try to add it to the video description after the fact. I didn't obviously plan any of these routes, so what I should really have done is taken more of a recording of the exact route. Eilean Donan Castle, by the way, which I believe is where they shot the first, or at least parts of the first Highlander movie. My friends, Alzo lives in Scotland, but my friend Tucker, who invited me on this, he knows Scotland like the back of his hand, and as you can see, it is, okay, it's not bright blue skies for a lot of it, but Scotland, it's my happy place for riding. I don't know what it is, because you can get similar sights here in England if you go far enough, in Wales, but something about Scotland, the people, it's always a fantastic time. One thing I have noticed watching this, footage back, is that the stabilisation on the DJI Osmo Action 4, just like with my old GoPro Hero 7, I think it was, sometimes makes it look like the way I'm leaning the bike is really sort of weird. It's like I drop the bike into the corner and then lift it up, or kind of drop it in further, which isn't actually the case. So I might try to turn off the stabilisation. I'm not entirely sure what this road is called. It has certain Alps vibes, but in the rain with the mist, the gravel, the other vehicles on it, it was interesting. And the camera doesn't do this justice. Dropping down into Applecross and seeing those sandy beaches. The weather isn't particularly great. We stopped here for lunch at this tiny little place, which was a little bit out of the main area of Applecross, and as is normal for me, I made friends with the farmer's border collie, and then we started to head over, thankfully, into some better weather, but I was drenched. Also looking back at the footage, there are parts where my speedo looks completely black, and parts where my sat-nav does. Now, that isn't an attempt from me to hide my speed. That is because I was using a polarizing filter, as well as an ND filter in one, which I think in hindsight, and hopefully you'll see on the second Scotland video, which I did the weekend after this, the footage, I think for watching it on mobile phones and maybe on your TV, I didn't use the polarizing filter on that, and I think the balance perhaps is a little bit more even. Like I said, I think one thing I've learned from this trip is to have information prepared to be able to give to you guys, because one thing I wanted to be able to do while I was riding was basically say, oh, we're on the A529 heading here, this is this lake or this river, something to give you more of a interesting watch. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the video footage itself is pretty stunning, mainly because of the views. This view here was awesome. So, but yeah, I have learnt a few things. I did have some troubles with my helmet mic, which was due to me trying to rush and get everything plugged in. I did also find that even though I've got 3 batteries for the for the DJI Osmo Action 4 and 2 for the Insta360, that's not enough. I know some people they'll run a USB and power it off the bike or a battery bank, but with the weather, that wasn't really feasible. So I've invested in a couple more Insta360 batteries, and also I need to buy some more for the Osmo Action, especially when myself and my partner go to Europe in August. So look out for that. It will probably be mid-September by the time I actually get that video up, because we're heading off middle of August for 2 weeks. We're heading to the Dolomites and then across France, maybe through Switzerland, over to see family in northwest France. But yes, a few things learnt, and kudos to the people that do this sort of thing for a living, or quite frequently. The likes of Teapot One, Richie Vida with some of his long rides, Username K, Andy Mancam, etc. And in fairness, also another guy that I've been watching recently, Two Wheeled Dreamer. I think, I think having all your gear set up, and knowing that you're stopping frequently to make sure that you're actually filming the right stuff and commentating on it, I think is certainly a skill that I need to learn, because normally I just ride with music on. So this was day 3, leaving the guest house, which I forget the name of it now. I do mention it at the end of the video, in Fort William. Amazing place, 50 quid a night. There were 4 of us, and the breakfast was fantastic. I don't believe they have a website. I think you have to ring up to book, but I'll stick a link to the guest house if you're staying in Fort William. Highly recommend that. So yeah, this is just us heading back through, I believe this is back through the Glencoe area. My brain went blank for a moment. But yeah, it rained pretty much for the whole way. I would say we were down sort of Edinburgh-ish way before it started to dry up properly. The Dainese all-in-one suit that you can see there, I've had that for a few years now. It is brilliant. It looks like I'm soaked because it seems to have a layer that it soaks into, but it's never let a drop of water in. So
according to the bike, I'm going to run out of fuel as we get to Moffat. But not 1 mile is 1 mile. It's not just a straight over. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Right. See you later, dude. Bye-bye. Well, folks, that is more or less the end of my trip. It has done nothing but rain all the way back from Fort William until about, I don't know, probably Gretna, maybe a little bit after that. I will stick some maps up to show the route that we took, because if I'm honest, I didn't have any involvement in the planning of the routes. A friend of mine was kind enough to take care of all of that, so thank you to Tucker. Give me a second. Yeah, so yeah, I was kind of just along for the ride, really. We obviously stayed in Fort William, so big shout out to the Myrtle Bank B&B where we stayed. 4 of us shared the annex, two double beds, 2 single beds, and it was 50 quid a night each for each of us, which I didn't think was too bad. And the breakfast was brilliant. So I don't think you can book online, but if you ring them, they'll take you know bookings. But yeah, we headed over. Yesterday we headed over Applecross. You've already watched the footage for that, and did basically the sort of coastal road. And then today we left Fort William, came back into Tindrum, stopped again at the Green Welly stop. I need to review the footage, so one thing I have learnt from this trip is fair play to the YouTube bloggers who do much longer trips than this, because I needed to constantly charge the batteries for the for the helmet cam, for the 360 camera, and it was a lot of juggling around and stuff like that. So fair play to the people that do this, day in and day out and vlog much longer trips. But yeah, it was a pretty wet start to this morning. But yeah, we like I say, after we left the Green Welly, we headed down towards Glasgow over the Erskine Bridge, I believe, and then one of my friends, Alzo, he left us there, and then the 3 of us continued down. I think we followed the A70. I think it was the A701 or the A702 into Moffat. Had a bit of lunch there. Was still a bit misty there, but it was nice. And then we headed out of Moffat and basically followed the service road at the side of the M6 all the way down towards Ecclefechan, but we didn't go into there. And then my friend Tucker left us to head back over to where he lives. Yeah, and then as I already said, me and Jimmy continued down the A6 into Kendal, which is where I've just left now. Just stopped for fuel, and I've got about another 65 miles until I get home, which will make a total of about 925 miles in 3 days. lot of mileage, but it was absolutely worth it. Scotland, as I said on the way up, is an absolutely amazing place with some gorgeous roads. I really can't get enough of it. Anyway, enough of me waffling on. I'm going to sit on the M6 now, do the last 60 miles because I am knackered. I don't know how long it'll take me to edit this video up, but hope you like it. I didn't talk to the camera as much while we were all riding as a group as I had planned to, because well, I was having too much fun. We were just chatting nonsense in our headsets and having a laugh, really. So yeah, apologies I didn't commentate too much on it, but yeah, I should be up again next weekend with some friends, staying in Moffat this time for the Saturday, Sunday and the bank holiday Monday. I'm going to do this all over again, and hopefully I will get better at it as time goes on. But yes, like I said, hope you've enjoyed it. Any feedback, stick them in the comments. Yeah, I will catch you in the next video, and see you later.